Test. Test. Order the Tuesday, February 6th meeting of the Danville City Council. Madam Clerk, roll call to establish the quorum, please.
Mayor Ricky Williams Jr.,
Present.
Alderman Ed Butler,
Present.
Heidi Wilson,
Present.
Carolyn Wands,
Present.
James Bouchard,
Present.
Mike O'Kane,
Here.
Bob Iverson,
Here.
Mike Poor,
Here.
Rick Streebing,
Here.
Sherry Pickering,
Here.
Eve Ludwig,
Present.
Tricia Teague,
Present.
Robert Williams,
Present.
Darren York,
Here.
John Cooper,
Here.
14 present.
14 present. We do have a quorum. At this time, we will have the invocation led by the Reverend Ryan Harris, the pastor of Hope Unlimited Church, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance led by Vice Mayor Teague. Please rise.
Let's pray together. Heavenly Father, I thank you so much for our wonderful city. I thank you for the leaders that you have positioned in this season to lead us. And Lord, tonight as they do business, as they discuss issues that are at hand, I pray you give them wisdom, you'll give them guidance, that Lord, you will help us together to walk into the brighter future that I know you have for this wonderful city. And I'm so confident you're going to do all these things. I go ahead and thank you for it. In Jesus' name.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Harris. We'd love to hear any updates on what's going on at the church.
Sure, awesome. I'd just start by saying happy birthday, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you.
Birthday.
Thank you very much.
One of the things that's been passionate for my family personally, and has become a cause that our church is passionate about, is our foster care system. You find the statistics, many of the issues that are plaguing us nationally, but even locally, such as over-incarceration as well as homelessness. Many of these problems find their source in the foster care system. An overwhelming percentage of the people who are presently incarcerated and or homeless had a season when they were in the foster care system. So we believe that if we want to solve these problems, we move upstream and deal with them. Something we have done as a church for 2 years running now is we have worked with the Center for Youth and Family Solutions and provided Christmas presents for every foster care child that is in care with that organization. We are now getting ready to partner with an international organization called Backyard Orphans that actually just signed an agreement with the nation of Kenya to eliminate every orphanage in Kenya over the course of the next 10 years by their model of raising up loving families where every child will have a loving home to live and to grow up in. And so we are bringing them to Danville to train us, and hopefully we will be able to set a model together that we can then send to other churches, because I would love to see Vermilion County to be a place where every child that is in the foster care system has someone who loves them, cares for them, and gives them a fair chance to live the life that they were created to live. And so we're very excited about that, Mr. Mayor, and I look forward to bringing some of those things once we accomplish them, maybe to this city council, to see how we can build that out and do even greater things together, because this is a problem that's bigger than our church. It's bigger than any one organization, but it's not bigger than this city and the people in this city, and I look forward to watching us solve it together.
Thank you, Pastor. We appreciate everything you guys do for the community.
Thank you so much. It's an honor to be here.
You have before you the minutes of the January 16th meeting. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. The motion carries. You also have an agenda for this evening. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you. We have an agenda for this evening. I do not have any proclamations for you this evening. However, I do have several reappointments and then one appointment. If it be acceptable to the council, I would like to take the reappointments together. I would entertain a motion to approve the reappointments together. They would be item B1, a Board of Fire and Police Commissioners, Larry Fredericks and Amy Hoos, reappointing to terms expiring in December 26th and February of 2025. Danville Public Building Commissioners to Ricky Williams Sr. to reappointment until September of 26. To the Danville Public Library Board, Stacey Morganson, reappoint to a term expiring in July of 2026. And Historic Preservation Commission, Becky Woodrum and Roberta Allen, both reappointing to a term expiring in July of 2026. Is there a motion to concur with those appointments?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate on the appointments? Reappointments.
I just have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there a reason why the two appointees for the Board of Fire and Police Commissioners have very different end dates? Like, are the terms staggered? I'm just trying to get an understanding, like, why does one end in February of 25 and the other in
I
December
apologize.
26?
This should say, thank you for the clarification, Vice Mayor. It should say 12 of 2025.
Okay, so it's 12 of, so it's,
So
Larry
December,
Frederick is December of 26 and Amy Hoos is December of 25?
yes, 1 year of her term has already passed. We
Okay.
somehow missed adding it. Yes, so I apologize, that correction of Amy Hoos reappointing to a term expiring on 12 of 2025. Any further discussion or debate? If seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you very much. At this time, I also have for you item 6B4, the appointment of Jacob Daisy to the David S. Palmer Arena Board, appointed with a term expiring on November of 2024. Is there a motion to concur with the appointment?
So moved. Concur. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate?
I have a question.
Yes.
Why is this one so short? Because it's only, what, 9 months, 10 months?
It's the remainder of a term for someone who's resigned.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Is there any further discussion or debate? All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. Thank you, the motion carries. Are there any reports of boards, agencies, or commissions this evening? Seeing none, items of information, I'm excited to tell you that we have chosen those who will be competing in our Danville's Got Talent on the first Friday next month. It's going to be a really dynamic group of folks. I'm excited because we have more than just vocalists this time. We have an instrumentalist, we have a couple of dancers, and we also have someone who is a comedian / does some voiceover. So I hope you all will come out and join us on March 1st. It's sure to be a nice, fun evening at the Fisher Theater. Also, unfortunately, I have some very sad news for our community. Many of you were with us recently when we honored former Mayor Jones for his many years of service. I'm very sad to report to you that unfortunately he passed today.
Oh, no.
So in his honor, if we would have a moment of silence, please. Our hearts and our prayers go out to everyone who loved Mayor Jones. And again, I'm glad that, there's a saying that says, give me my flowers before I die, right? So I'm glad that we were able to do that for Mayor Jones. And I thank all of you who helped me be able to make that happen, especially our city clerk and our human relations administrator. So thank you guys. And also for the committee that helped. Having satisfied my report, Madam Clerk, do we have any petitions, communications, and audience comments this evening?
Yes, we do, Mayor. Has everyone had a chance to complete a yellow audience comment card who wishes to speak this evening? Okay, when I call your name, please come to the podium. You'll have 3 minutes to speak. First, I have Jerry Hawker regarding grants.
Thank you. Jerry Hawker, Vermillion County Board Member representing District 8 here in the city. I'm here tonight to thank Mayor Williams for not being blinded by the shiny gold that our governor is using to entice cities and counties to accept grants in assisting illegal immigrants into our communities. I do have compassion for people who are trying to better themselves. However, we in the community do not have an infrastructure to handle loads of illegal immigrants coming into our city. It would overload our healthcare system, our schools, our police departments, and the mental health agencies. We do not have enough affordable housing to take care of the current population, let alone to have thousands of illegal immigrants coming into our city. We already have enough crime and drugs that both Chief Yates and Sheriff Hartshorn are trying their very best to protect us from. If the governor has so much of our tax money to spend, send it down here to help us address the items that I just spoke of, like the homeless, the mentally ill, and affordable housing crisis, and our drug crisis. I'm sure if the governor would send that money down here, the council and the mayor would openly accept it to address those local concerns. It is totally unacceptable to have veterans and other homeless people in our streets, families struggling to afford housing, a mental health system that is overloaded. Mr. Governor, send grants to help address these major problems. However, our boat is full. We cannot accept illegal immigrants by the boatload. We can hardly handle what we have. Again, I'd like to thank the mayor for not accepting that grant. I know it's easy sometimes for people to see a grant and think, hey, there's money. I'd also like to thank Sam Cole and Logan Kronk for all their work that they do to bring all the other grants into our community. So I thank you for that. One other short comment. I wasn't aware of anything about the rental registration changing. The landlord association hadn't been notified anything about it, so I'm flying in the dark tonight. I have no idea what you're considering, but in the past, we had been able to be involved in those kind of decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hawker.
Deanne Ryan of Danville regarding Children of Addicts Week.
Hello, thank you for letting me talk. I did send a proclamation to the mayor, but I forgot to send it. I had it on drafts. So I'm going to ask him maybe if he will proclaim this at the next meeting, but I'll read parts of it. Whereas over 1/4 of the children growing up in Danville are exposed to family alcohol and other substance use disorders. The unspoken rules these children learn at home are don't talk, don't trust, and don't feel. These children are the first to be hurt and the last to be heard and helped. They have a right to our support, recognition, and help, and deserve recovery for themselves. And whereas life has been even more challenging for them through the pandemic with an increase in alcohol and other substance use in the families, more isolation and silent shame, loneliness and sadness, we must dismantle the barrier of silence surrounding this issue for children and provide supportive, caring, safe, constructive communication and loving kindness for them and their families. And we must be proactive and assertive in our work to identify, educate, activate, and support these children and caring adults in their lives. These children are 4 times greater risk of becoming chemically dependent than other children and are most vulnerable to other adverse childhood experiences, which can profoundly impact them as adults. We can help to change the course of their lives by using evidence-based, effective, supportive education and love. It's our obligation to do that starting this week. Actually, the whole month is Children of Addicts Month. We have a coalition that started in Danville. It's called Drug Endangered Children. We've been meeting and trying to find ways to get support and education to children who live in these situations. And we're trying to build that coalition. On next Wednesday, I just sent a flyer around and I'll put more at the door if anybody wants one. At the Danville Library, we're having a discussion and a presentation on a program we're going to start delivering for children through our coalition and through New Directions Treatment Center. We're going to show a movie about how it impacts kids, and also what we can do as a community to support them. And I've been involved in serving children for the last 30, 40 years, and I can tell you there's little to nothing to target kids that have those issues. And one of the reasons is there's not a lot of referrals for it, self-referrals for it, because, you know, don't tell, don't ask. Parents don't want them to come and be telling, but there are ways that we can get kids involved in these programs and camps. We had one before the pandemic, and we had it at Friendly Town, where we hope to have some again. The kids loved coming to the park and learning lessons. The course is all based on the 7 C's, and right now I don't remember them all, but you should. But don't tell, don't, I didn't cause it, I can't control it. I can only control what I do. And there's a few more, but they learn skills through games and playing. So we're gonna start that in the summertime. First of all, we're gonna try to train teens to be advocates and advocate counselors for the kids. So, and then we'll have the little kids come to these camps and help them to recover and to have, we're gonna call it, it's called Confident Kids, and we're gonna help them have confidence that they are survivors of these situations. So there's information for our thing next Wednesday, and you can always call me if you want more information.
Thank you, Mrs. Ryan.
That's all I have, Mayor.
Is there anyone else who wishes to address the council this evening? I see a lot of our men and women from Public Works here tonight. I want to say thank you guys for being here. We appreciate everything that you do for our citizens, and I know that they appreciate it too. From storm cleanups to winter breaks when you guys are out there plowing, taking care of things, to all the help that you provided when we were without water, when many people were without or had limited water recently. So we just want to say thank you guys for everything that you do, and we appreciate you all being here tonight. We do not have any zoning petitions this evening. However, you do have before you the approval of the payrolls of January 19th and 26th, 2024, as well as February 2nd, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate on those? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Pritchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Hoare.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Swans.
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries. You also have before you the vouchers payable of January 23rd, 2024, as well as today, February 6th, and also special runs of January 22nd and 31st, 2024. Is there a motion to approve those?
So move.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman O'Kane.
Yes.
Iverson.
Yes.
Hoare.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries. At this time, we have item 11, our Public Services Committee report. Chairman Streebing.
Good evening, everybody. Puts us at 11A. We have a resolution approving an application to National Endowment for the Arts for NEA grants for art projects. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this resolution? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Iverson.
Yes.
Hoare.
Yes.
Streebing.
Yes.
Pickering.
Yes.
Ludwig.
Yes.
Teague.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
York.
Yes.
Cooper.
Yes.
Butler.
Yes.
Wilson.
Yes.
Wands.
Yes.
Bouchard.
Yes.
O'Kane.
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries. Thank you. Puts us 11B. We have an ordinance amending section 39.07 of the city code pertaining to compensation for municipal employees. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on 11B's ordinance? Yes.
So I know when the budget was approved, the comment that was made at that time was that, well, we need to approve the budget now, even though there are a number of people who had concerns about the wages, because we needed to be able to do that to move forward with projects. But the statement was also made at that time that we can address the wages later. So I have a question, but I need to make a statement first. So one of the things that occurred between the meeting where the budget was approved and now is that I personally received additional phone calls after the meeting from multiple employees in both of our sites, both here at City Hall as well as in Public Works Building, concerning the wage study. It was actually more than I had before the vote about the wage study. And a couple of things that came up, one was that the job descriptions that some employees had that were being used to assess where they should be doesn't actually match their duties because the job descriptions might not have been updated to match changes in people's responsibilities. Therefore, the wages that they could be going into, even if it is an possible increase or stay the same, and that would require an assessment of each individual job. But at any rate, may not actually be an accurate representation of what it should be. One of the things that I did bring up that night was that we know that there are likely to be incidents, and this is one of the concerns that I heard before, that people would be underpaid as a result of that. Now, there are a couple of other concerns that I've heard since then. One from both aldermen and employees, that there are some people who might be overpaid if the wage study is implemented. And then I think, so my question is this: since the statement was made that we could address the wages later, now that we're about to codify the wages, has there been any changes to the wages since the budget was approved? Because I started to look, it's a lot, obviously there's a lot of people. So I started to look and things look the same, but I could have missed something because I don't know this data in detail. So that is my primary question.
Okay.
Comptroller.
First, I'll start with just to respond to the question about job description. So at the beginning of the process of the wage study, it was discussed in a leadership team meeting that everyone was notified, all division department heads, that you are responsible for reviewing in detail the job descriptions for every position underneath you. So there was an umbrella approach, right? So if you're a division head, you review all the job description under you. If you're a department head, you then review the division head job descriptions, and then the mayor reviewed all department head. So no one was obviously responsible for reviewing and approving their own. And then those were uploaded to a shared folder on the shared drive that were used for the study. So they were reviewed, or should have been reviewed, at the beginning of the wage study. So I did want to just let you know that. Your other question about has anything changed, we're currently in fiscal year 23-24. So whatever was on the last wage chart is what everyone is currently being paid. This would be considered your opportunity to review, right? So this is City Council's opportunity, this wage chart, to review non-union and auxiliary, those two sections of the wage charts, wages. All union, per chapter 39.07 of the city code, is that union wages are approved and added to the wage chart by default when the collective bargaining agreement or any other agreement with that union are approved by City Council. So those sections, the union sections of the wage chart, get updated by default after you all approve. So just same process. City Council approves all wages. The process is different. Non-union goes through this wage chart. Collective bargaining agreements go through the CBAs, right, and go to you. So I hope that answers your question.
Not exactly. I don't think I was precise enough with my question. So really what I'm wanting to know is, since the comment was made, well, we can address the wages after we approve the budget, have there been any changes at all between those two things? Because the only change that I'm
The
aware,
ranges or what an individual's making?
what an individual would be making. So
No.
okay. Because the only thing that I know of that's different that might not have been on the one that was approved when we approved the budget is the addition of the analyst position in the police department, which, for the record, because I got stopped about this after public services meeting. So for the record, I am in support of wholeheartedly, but I voted no at public services because it's not the only thing that's being brought before us, it's all of the wages that are being brought before us. So I just need to make sure that people are aware and clear. about my
Non-union
position.
wages are being brought.
Understand.
So union would be through their collective bargaining agreements that still require, obviously, city council approval.
But but in terms of addressing the concerns that we have with wages, nothing has changed since the budget was approved.
No, it's the same ranges. That's why it should have been in your packet, the budget, salary and benefit table, the wage study, which you have access to, and then I did include also the last wage chart that was adopted. Because there's so many changes, I thought it'd be easier to just lay the last one and the new one next to each other, because usually we're only changing 4 or 5 positions. They're highlighted in green. Well, I tried to cross-reference between the budget, salary, and benefit table and the new wage chart with the color coding. So the color coding is consistent between the two.
Any further discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Chairman Poor,
Yes.
Chairman Strebe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
Yes.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
No.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
No.
Cooper,
No.
Butler,
No.
Wilson,
No.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
No.
8 yes.
8 yes, the motion carries.
That puts us to item 11C, authorizing budget amendment to fiscal year 2023 through 2024 for the Informational Technology Division, item 020. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second.
Second.
Is there any questions on this resolution? 11C? Yes.
Chief, you want to explain this position to everybody?
Sure. We had scheduled an upgrade for our cashiering system for the next fiscal year, but due to the time constraint here, Tyler Technologies, who is our provider, they want us to be on the schedule for the upgrade. And not only that, the payment gateway that we use for processing our credit cards and stuff, is no longer supported. So we have to get on their schedule, which means we have to give them the purchase order in this fiscal year. So what we are doing is we are going ahead and scheduling the upgrade as well as, doing our payment gateway upgrade as well at the same time. So next year's, what we're going to do is probably do like a budget adjustment, like Ashley mentioned in the last public services meeting. So there's some hardware involved in this, like the credit card readers. So that's included in this as well. Any other questions?
Any other questions for Agnell? If not, roll call, please.
Chairman Strebe,
Yes.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
Yes.
Alderman Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Hoare,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries. Puts us to 11D, an ordinance amending Chapter 163 of the Rental Housing Registration. I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I'll need a second, please.
Second.
Is there any questions on this ordinance? Yes.
Not really a question, this is more or less a concern. Has there been any attempt to contact the landlord association or whatever, getting any of their input?
I have not.
Any reasoning behind, I mean, I'm sort of surprised nobody's here too, but. Okay, no further.
Well, I voted no out of committee. And that was one of the reasons, but the other reason was, well, let me go back. Little story here. I left for vacation in November. Now, a year ago, we hit the toters and we hit it hard because we bought a whole fleet full of them to get out for everybody. And the toters are supposed to be the number one thing. And the inspector's gonna take care of this, including the lids. That was the big thing. They were flowing, the lids were supposed to be closed. I'm still waiting to have mine fixed at one of my rentals. that I probably should have gotten 1 or 2 tickets between November and now. So now you want to go ahead and you want to add more to this and have them going inside rental registrations to make inspections. Sounds good. I don't think we got enough manpower. The other part of it is I don't believe that these people are, I'm gonna say they could do it, but they're not electricians and not plumbers. And I'm gonna go back to what they done to Mike many years ago when we first started this. And they hounded him for 3 weeks on his. And they wrote him up for things like having laundry in baskets or sinks in the dishes. You know, believe me, it was a nightmare then. And I think you're opening up a can of worms to have a nightmare again.
You know, and I understand what you're saying, but I think rental housing in this town is an issue.
It is an issue.
You know, and it's not every landlord that causes that problem. But I think, is there a landlord, is there an
Yes,
association?
there is an association, and they weren't notified.
Yeah, you know, I think they should have been, just to have some of their input. And I think some of their input, we ought to address some of our concerns to them also, to be honest with you, but I'm going to make a motion to put this on hold for 30 days until we make some type of contact with the landlord association. And then present it back to council after we get some type of input from them.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion or debate on the motion?
Yep. Any discussion or debate on the motion?
Yeah, if I can go back to 1995, is when we first started talking about rental registration programs, before the Danville Area Landlord Association was formed. I was part of that, I believe, Jerry, back in those days. At that time, we did work hand in hand with the city, trying to come up with something, but when that first came out, it was $25 per unit. It was inspection, internal inspection. Section 8 housing was exempt. And there were it had to follow the code set forth nationally. It had to follow any level 1 violations, things like that. We had a whole big, thick binder with everything that was required. You got hammered on such things as Rick said, the tenant having a piece of furniture in front of a window or blocking a vent, or having carpet in the bathroom or in the kitchen, or not enough cabinet space, all kinds of things like that. That's when we kind of did away with the interior inspection, just went with external inspections. And, you know, it worked pretty good for years. A lot of cooperation between the landlord association and the inspectors and different things. So, you know, it's been around for a long time. I didn't agree with everything in it. I didn't think it was strict enough in some cases, but nonetheless, I do think the landlord association has to have some input in the decisions, and we need to look long and hard. I know the Section 8 program is a federally funded program, but there ought to be something we can do on those properties as well. Because, you know, even though they are inspected and have to meet the federal standards, there are still some that slip through. And be honest with you, most of the rental housing is not Section 8 in the city, regardless of what people think. Most rental property is handled privately. There's only, what are we at? In all of Vermilion County, maybe 700-800 vouchers for all of Vermilion County for Section 8, with about 400 something in the city. So I think it's something that needs to be looked at, and well, Heidi knows too. But so I mean, that's all I've got to say. But I mean, I would support that.
Yes.
You know, and going back on that Section 8 housing, there's probably half these rental units in this town that wouldn't pass Section 8 housing.
Right.
You know, and that's what and Jerry, But I think that's why there's a need. And I think if you ask the people in this town what the number one concern is, it's rental housing. And, you know, I'm going to compliment Trish and Sherry and Brenda here for presenting this thing, but I would rather have some of the landlords' input on this, but I'm fully supportive of what they've done
Yeah,
too.
I am
so,
too.
Because rental housing is an issue that needs to be addressed.
Alderman York?
Yeah, I'm completely in support of this as well. I commend you ladies on putting this together. Now, I definitely agree that the rental or the association needs to be consulted, but back to the point where the inspections were targeting different, you know, furniture or dishes in the sink or all that. Section or 163.12, Section C clearly states the scope of the inspection performed is limited to the minimum housing standards set forth by the property maintenance code. And it's pertaining to the property maintenance code and not like that kind of stuff.
That's what I'm saying, that's how it was.
Exactly, and I think that needs to happen absolutely, because a lot of the rental properties in this town are not up to code, and I've had personal experience with some of that, and I think this is absolutely needed.
I mean, I really know what they're trying to do, which I applaud them for.
Yeah, but I think we need some additional input from them as well.
Yes. Any other questions? Yes, Mike?
Well, I'm very much in favor of this idea, and I do understand tabling things so that there's some review. And in the meantime of that, would you ask for
30 days.
30 days?
Well, that's what I gotta
Yeah,
consider.
I would like to also see that the chapter 167 be sent to the aldermen so they have an idea what's involved. So when they're voting, that everybody knows what's curtails with inspections and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'm sort of like making an amendment to my motion. I'd like to have it voted on by full council on March 12th. I believe we have, that gives, not March 12th.
It would be first, second, third, fourth, March 5th or March 19th.
Okay, let's go with March 5th then. That gives us 30 days. I go through two committees, discussion on council, and we can vote on it March 5th.
That sounds good to me. I mean, so you're making that change to your amendment?
We table this until March 5th for vote on.
And we had a second for that, didn't we?
Whoever
Yes, we
seconded it.
did. Alderman Butler.
Okay, we had a second.
I'll second it.
Yes, corporate counsel?
Just a point of information to address Alderman O'Kane's comment about passing out Chapter 167, which is our property maintenance code. What Chapter 167 does is it adopts the International Code Council property maintenance code, and then the council over the years has adopted changes or decisions not to enforce certain sections. So more than just the published code, Chapter 167 would have to be distributed, and we'll have to order the books.
Or find a link for it.
Or what?
Find an online link for it.
There is no online link for it. It's copyrighted material. I mean, you can look up, if you understand how the code works, sections of the code, but look up and download a book. You can't do that.
And I've tried several times.
As have I, because I wanted to pass out a booklet to all of you, and they're about $40, $50.
Is there any more questions on this ordinance? So right now, the amendment was changed that we'll hold this till March 5th of 2024, which is about 30 days.
Chairman, if I may.
Go ahead.
I would just say that I want to make sure that you all stand strong in this. In the past, we worked hard to impose rental registration standards to try to help our citizens. And unfortunately, when there was major pressure from the landlord lobby, the council buckled. And I'm telling you that I'm calling on you as our mayor to make sure we protect our people. Because quite honestly, as much as we support our landlords, our good landlords, thankfully, most of our landlords are really good. There are many of you on this council who are landlords, and you do an amazing job. And for all of those who do an amazing job, sorry that we have to implement this, but unfortunately, there are enough bad ones that have ruined it for everyone else, and we have to make sure that we take care of our people. So I want to make sure that if this is a delay and not a punt, because we have to take care of our people. We must.
All right, thank you. And saying that, yes.
I just
Vice
want
Mayor.
to add to what the mayor said. In my brief time as a member of this council, I have heard from people from all walks of life, highly educated, not so educated, people who have been here for years, people who are transplants to this community, parents of people in this community, and everyone has said, regardless of who they are, where they come from, that we have a significant issue with finding adequate housing to rent in this community. And one of the reasons why is because we have, I believe, because we have a very hands-off approach when it comes to rental housing. Section 8 housing has to go through an approval process, and it has to be reviewed every so many years. Before I moved to Danville, the house that I owned in Lake County, I made it Section 8, and I had to make a number of, I'll call them unnecessary repairs, in order for it to be Section 8 approved. But the majority of the housing in this community, as Chairman Purse said, does not have to go through any approval process. And the pictures that we have seen on social media, they are abhorrent. And nobody, not even a dog, should have to live in the conditions that some of our citizens live in. I drive by many of those houses in my ward, because before I ran, I drove every street in my ward to see the conditions of the neighborhood. You have houses that are falling apart. You have people who don't have working plumbing. You have people who don't have air. You have people who don't have heat. Those issues need to be addressed. So I'm just going to second what the mayor said and say, we don't just need to punt, but we need to take a stand to make sure that we stand up for every citizen in this city, regardless of who they are and regardless of where they live. Because at the end of the day, the bad landlords are making the good landlords look bad. And unfortunately, the bad landlords outnumber the good landlords, which is why you have people who own. I've heard from, I'm not going to name names, but I heard from somebody who owned a franchise. And they said, my adult children can't find housing in the city of Danville. I have business relationships with people a couple who are attorneys who wanted to move to Danville. Can't find housing in the city of Danville. I've had highly educated people from Danville, passionate about Danville, had to, because their landlord decided to sell their house, they could not find any place else, and they relocated to Champaign County because they could not find adequate housing in Danville, and actually were commuting back to Vermilion County for work. And the only reason that they're back in Vermilion County now is because they finally bought a house. But most people in millennials and under are not ready to buy houses yet. And the only thing that they can do is live outside the city limits. And it's because they cannot find adequate housing. So we have to do something if we want our city to grow, because it will not grow. That's right. If we don't address this housing issue.
Amen.
Thank you. All right, any other questions?
Just one more comment.
Yes.
We used to be, the landlords used to be required to have an occupancy certificate for their rental property if the program first started. After the inspection, you get a certificate of occupancy, just like any business or anything else. So.
Well, just getting them inspected would be a start.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right.
All right,
I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Because as the situation stands now, the only way that the city has an opportunity to intervene is if the tenant makes a complaint.
And then if a tenant does, they get evicted, and that's where I've got a problem.
Exactly.
Exactly.
Yes.
And depending on the issue, the city still can intervene in some situations. That they're limited what they can respond to. So, and I think we're ignorant of, some of us may be ignorant of that. I was ignorant until I spoke with the corporate counsel, and he said, we can't help you address that because it's a certain nature of a problem that has to be handled in a different process. But this is what this is going to do is establish a minimum standard.
That's right.
And so many of our rentals are below that minimum standard.
That's right. Absolutely.
Call for question.
Okay, I'll call for the question.
On the amendment.
On the amendment?
Or on the,
A vote, a yes vote will agree to tabling it until March 5th.
Yes.
A no vote will ask that we vote on it immediately.
Okay, roll call, please.
Vice Chairman Pickering,
No.
Alderman Ludwig.
No.
Teague,
No.
Williams,
No.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
No.
Bouchard,
no.
O'Kane,
No.
Iverson,
No.
Hoare,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
6 yes.
6 yes, the amendment fails. We are back to the original ordinance.
Okay, the original ordinance reads, amending chapter 163 of the rental housing registration, number 11D, which is the ordinance. I'll get here again, I'll make the motion to approve and dispense with the
Chairman,
reading.
you don't have to, it's
Okay,
already been made.
Already been made and
It's
seconded,
just
that's right.
commentary.
Okay, comments, anybody? Yes.
I'd like to make a motion to amend section 163.03. In the first sentence, this chapter applies to any rental dwelling and its accessory elements located in the city of Danville corporate boundaries that are owned by one person and leased to one or more tenants as a rental dwelling with the following exceptions. And I think that it needs to change where it says owned by one person, it should say owned by one or more persons.
What number?
Section 163.03, scope of chapter.
It's in the first.
Oh,
It's
so
in the
it's
first.
not in the, oh,
It's in the first paragraph.
Yeah.
it's not.
Is it?
It's after
Definitions.
definitions.
Because in the code of ordinances, that's not the chapter.
Oh, yeah, in the updated, the
Updated.
amendment, Chairman.
Updated.
So if you go into your actual document,
What's that, reading that, I don't know where. you are.
I second that amendment, amendment.
Chairman, it's, just for clarification, y'all, it's on page 88 of your packet. And it's under, it says exhibit and then 163.01 introduction/purpose. That's where we're going, Chairman, at the very beginning of it.
No.
It's section 163.03.
Yeah.
Scope of chapter.
Oh, sorry. Thanks for the clarification, Alderwoman.
You got me all over here.
I'm sorry.
It's page
Oh,
90.
there we are. Right
We
here.
are.
If you'd like
I'm
me to
sorry.
repeat that, I'm happy to do that.
Thanks, Vice Mayor. It's page 90. 163.03, the scope of chapter. Currently, it says owned by one person and leased to one or more tenants. And Alderwoman, your amendment is owned by one or more persons,
Yes.
right? And Vice Chairman Pickering, you seconded that
Yes.
motion,
Second that
correct?
motion,
Missed that.
the amendment.
So essentially just making sure that, for example, if more than one person owns it would apply to each property. Thank you for that.
for finding
Any
that.
discussion or
What about
on
a
the
co-
amendment?
What about a corporation? An LLC?
Wouldn't
that be or more?
What,
No.
Alderman Streebing, the question again, please?
Oh, I was made.
Oh, Alderman Poor.
LLCs, corporations, or anything?
That, under the law, the word person means individuals, corporations, LLCs, associations, and other form of entities.
Initials.
Is there any further discussion or debate on the amendment? Yes, sir.
I got a question about what I was reading. In 163.07B, it says inspections shall be no more than 10 days from the date of code notification of the inspection or whatever, but you go into F, it says notice of inspection shall state a date, a time, inspection shall be no sooner than 10 days. Am I reading something backwards?
Trying to find out where you're referring to. Second number.
Under inspections generally, it says,
Page
under
6.
B, it says it will be within 10 days, and look, and you go to F1, it says inspections shall be no sooner than 10 days. Do these relate to each other?
Except as otherwise provided. 263.
Inspection shall be advance notice, et cetera, but which shall not be more than 10 calendar days from the date of the code official's notification. Okay, and then
Except
saying
as otherwise provided in 6.
the notice of inspection shall state the date, time for the inspection shall not be sooner than 10 days.
Should both of them be within 10 days?
Right. It appears there could be a conflict here.
Okay, so should we amend that so that they're both similar?
It says though, except as otherwise stated in 16307.
It's 94.
B says inspections no more than 10 days, and F talks about the notice of inspections. But if
I
you
just want to
find
make
it
sure it's right
confusing,
the
other
first
people
time.
will find it confusing. So that's just a word or two change, but we'll make it.
Okay.
Excuse me, Council Simon, can you move your mic closer?
Excuse
me.
Yeah, if somebody's confused on that, we'll edit it to eliminate the confusion. We don't want confusion in this. Thank you for picking it out.
Any further discussion or debate on Alderwoman Ludwig's amendment, proposed amendment, just making persons? Seeing none, if you vote yes, then you will support the amendment to say persons, to be sure that it covers all who rent in the city of Danville. If you vote no, then you would not support the change. Roll call, Madam Clerk.
Alderman Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Hoare?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, motion carries.
Now we're back to the original motion as amended. Is there any further discussion or debate on the original motion?
If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Teague?
Yes.
Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Hoare?
Yes.
Streebing?
No.
Pickering?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
13 yes.
13 yes, motion carries. Puts us to item 11E, resolution authorizing the purchase of a police department vehicle and disposal of an unused vehicle. I make the motion to approve and dispense with the reading and ask for your approval. I will need a second, please.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any questions on this resolution, 11E? If not, roll call, please.
Alderman Williams?
Yes.
York?
Yes.
Cooper?
Yes.
Butler?
Yes.
Wilson?
Yes.
Wands?
Yes.
Bouchard?
Yes.
O'Kane?
Yes.
Iverson?
Yes.
Hoare?
Yes.
Streebing?
Yes.
Pickering?
Yes.
Ludwig?
Yes.
Teague?
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries. Thank you very much. Puts us to items of information, and we'll just move right to 11-1, the GIS presentation by Adam All. Adam, the floor is all yours.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. For the past month, myself and a team, Momachu and Suhail, have been helping with the development of a couple of new apps for our GIS program. And what we're trying to do is create an inclusive environment for information delivery that puts the information directly at the fingertips of the user without going through a series of clicks and searches trying to find exactly what they're looking for. And this afternoon we had a user on the zoning map, and he said, "This is brilliant. This is exactly what I was looking for. I don't have to go hunting around to find properties that are, in this case, in the enterprise zone because of incentives and whatnot." I'm going to demonstrate that a little bit here tonight, and then we can discuss that more next week or whatever. If you want to give me a call, I'm over at the Public Works Building. If you're not aware, we do have a gallery of public-facing applications already on the city website, cityofdanville.org. Go to the GIS page, and then we'll have this gallery listed in there. The zoning application is going to be a one-stop shop for our users, developers, public officials, and city staff are going to use this to find the information they need about what they can do in their property, what kind of restrictions or regulations are going to be available. And in here, if we put in, an address, let's say, well, and we want to look up Chandler Street. The map's going to zoom right in, and it's going to display properties, okay? And clicking on this property, we've done a lot of programming on the back end on that new server that we installed back in August. And here, we can see that there's the address, this is Grant Street, property information, so it gives you the tract number, it gives you the estimated lot size, what the existing land use is, and then access to the property information card on the county's taxing system. And then all of the zoning information, okay? R2, right? It's a single-family residence. What's the purpose of this particular R2 zone? It's right there listed for them, okay? These are links that will take you directly to our ordinances so that they can find out more information about those zones. Scrolling down, we have development incentives. Is this piece of property in an enterprise zone, and is it in a TIF district? It's all right there. And if they even want to see the boundaries of those districts, we have a list of available layers that they can turn on, and they can check for themselves where those boundaries are. Okay, so here's the enterprise zone boundary in hash. So if they're looking for a property on one side of town and another on another side of town, and they're choosing between two, this will help drive some of their decision-making, right?
Well, Adam, I got a question for you. Because a few years back, we had problems with places being looked at around Lincoln Park, and it's a historic district. People didn't realize when they bought in there what they could and couldn't do. Is that on there as well?
It's not going to be on this one. It's on a future application for property lookup and neighborhood associations. So we have a lot of apps in development right now, and they're going to be coming online throughout 2024.
Okay, thank you.
He's talking about the certificate of appropriateness,
Mhm.
which Lincoln Park Historic District said they didn't want anywhere.
Yeah, okay.
So, and on the left side here, it gives a little context about this application. Why does this application even exist? Our current applications are pretty much just map-centric. There's no context. Unless you know why you're using that map, you don't have any idea. Here, it'll explain the application to you. It'll also direct you to the Code of Ordinances and TIF and Enterprise Zone websites. Oh, these are going to open up a whole new avenue for information dissemination out of our city government to those who need it.
So a lot of times I know you all will contact me and say, someone is interested in making this kind of investment. They want to bring a business, or they want to open this, or they want to do this type of development. If you know a specific property that they're interested in, you could direct them to, or you can look yourself right here and immediately tell, okay, what types of incentives are available in this area? What's the residential, so that you would know what codes they have to meet, all that kind of thing. And it doesn't have to be just investment, new businesses, it's for housing purposes as well.
This is a residential lookup. So on our current website, the homepage of our current website at the bottom has a residential lookup. You put an address in there, and it tells you your garbage pickup day and who your alderman is and who your inspector is, right? There's no map, there's no real context around it. You really don't even know who your neighbor is because it only looks up single addresses at a time, okay? What we're envisioning here is this is a replacement for that, okay? We're getting a new website developed, we're getting new apps, new inclusive, all together information sources here. So what I've done with this one is created it a little bit more whimsical, right? It's not a zoning specific, it's not a hard and fast application for gathering information. It's fun, it's light, when is my garbage pickup? So that's why we made it look like this, right? So here, what's the purpose of the application, okay? And then a little bit about solid waste, yard waste, code enforcement, just little snippets of information to kind of get you pointed in the right direction. And if you want more, you can click on the link. It'll take you to the official city website so that you can get the full documentation on that, right? What does an enterprise zone mean? Okay, even residential houses in enterprise zones get benefits from enterprise zones. Let's put that on this app, all right? A lot of homeowners don't know that they can improve their properties and take advantage of that. So, Ward, supplemental.
I'll give you an example real quick. So if you live in an enterprise zone and you wish to do some work on your house, you can apply for a certificate and then get all the sales tax waived on that. So let's say you're planning to do a major improvement on your home, for example, like a roof repair. Let's say it's going to cost you $10,000 in materials. Well, if you don't have to pay the sales tax, and you're going to save yourself $1,000, right? So it's not something that's just for businesses. It's really important for homeowners as well.
And so do you have to be income eligible for this?
No, sir. The enterprise zone is based solely on where you live.
Mm-hmm. And same thing as the zoning map, we have a list of layers. So if you want to see the code enforcement zones, right, and the enterprise zone, we can turn those on. And here they are. They overlay the city. You can see whether your property is in that zone or not. Again, we can search directly for a piece of property. And one of the things is once you zoom in here, let the map render, right? We can click on, now remember, this is a residential property lookup application, okay? Only residentials. So if we click on this residential property here, it's going to come back and say residential information, okay? Your solid waste is picked up on Tuesday. Your yard waste is in Zone B. Your inspector is Dan Brown, and there's the alderman contact information, right? If we click on a property that's not residential, it will inform you that it's not a residential property. And if you click on a property that is residential, but does not qualify for yard waste and solid waste, it'll say not eligible for solid waste collection because it doesn't meet the requirements of the city pickup, right? But it will still tell you who your inspector is, and it will still tell you who your alderman is. So I think this will be a much more inclusive application than the current website's address search feature. Okay, but we have many more of these to come during this year, a lot in development, but I am open to questions during the week. I work over at the Public Works office, if you don't know already. So stop by and I'll show you some more. Thank you.
I've got a question for you, and we had this happen just a month or so ago. Now, I know it's probably the software or whatever, is there any way you could put something like this for the rental registrations on there? Because I'm gonna tell you what, that was something else trying to go, it's just easy to come down here and pay it in person. Because it wouldn't, number one, it didn't show all my properties. So if I paid one or two of them, the third or fourth one had been left out. And it looked like I was getting, I was going into business somewhere. And I ended up getting 4 different numbers by the time I finally got off and said, I'm done.
I think you're talking about the Citizen Serve.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, that is an entirely separate and disconnected system.
It's a shame that something like this couldn't be that easy. Really.
You mean something like that couldn't be this easy?
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you.
We paid for that.
Yeah.
Any other questions for Administrator All?
Yeah. Thank you,
Thanks,
Adam.
Adam.
Thank you.
And sir, that's all I've got, unless anybody.
Thank you, Chairman. We appreciate you. At this time, we'll receive our Public Works Committee report. Chairman Poor.
Thank you, Mayor. 12A is a resolution approving an amendment to the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Danville and the Laborers International Union of North America and the Southern and Central Illinois Laborers District Council and the Laborers Local 703. Move to dispense reading and ask for your approval.
Second.
Questions?
Great question.
Oop.
Well, I don't know if these guys are here for this one or not, but isn't this just the plumbing position we're talking about?
Yeah.
This is reinstating the position of city plumber and placing it into the union. That's correct.
Has nothing to do with anything else other than that plumbing position.
That's correct.
Is there a spokesman for one of you
Chairman, I
guys?
did Vice Chair Teague had a.
My question's already been answered.
Okay.
Okay.
Is there a
What?
spokesman for them? I mean,
It's
They're just here for support.
reason
their
we're all
unions
here.
too. We'd have to ask them that.
Anybody from the local want to talk? Just here
Their
for this.
union steward isn't, I don't believe is present. Or, yes, he is back there in the back.
That Deech?
Any further
No.
discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries.
12B is a resolution approving the purchase of a sewer vector truck. Move to dispense reading and ask for your approval.
Second.
Second.
So moved and seconded. Any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries.
12C is a resolution authorizing payment for emergency sanitary sewer, cured-in-place pipelining, and a manhole rehabilitation within South Danville. Move to dispense reading and ask for your approval.
I'll second.
This has been one that's been ongoing, right?
Yes.
We knew these were coming. Okay, any questions? Okay. Roll call?
Alderman Butler,
Yes.
Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries.
12D is an ordinance approving the purchase of real estate for community improvement and amending the fiscal year 2023-24 Fund 107 budget. Move to dispense reading and ask for your approval.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion or debate? Roll call vote, please.
Alderman Wilson,
Yes.
Wands,
Yes.
Bouchard,
Yes.
O'Kane,
Yes.
Iverson,
Yes.
Poor,
Yes.
Streebing,
Yes.
Pickering,
Yes.
Ludwig,
Yes.
Teague,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
York,
Yes.
Cooper,
Yes.
Butler,
Yes.
14 yes.
14 yes, the motion carries.
Item of information.
Oh, yeah, I'd just like to take this time to give you, Alderman Purr, my condolences. I knew your mother very well from my days at St. Patrick's School.
Yeah.
And she was a special woman.
Thank you. Mayor, that concludes our report.
Thank you, Chairman. Are there any items of information for the good of the cause? Yes, Chairman.
And I would like to thank everyone for their condolences, their cards, coming to visitation and service. Mom was going to be 98 Valentine's Day. She didn't miss a beat. She was actually driving and living alone up till the first week of October. She had a good life, so everybody says, "Oh man, I'm sorry." You know what? We celebrated her life. She got to live with me for the last 3 months of her life. I have a video of her pedaling her bicycle on Friday before she passed on Tuesday evening. You know, it was a joy to have her, and she died the way she wanted in the home of her loved ones, and she died in her sleep. So we just celebrated and had a great time over the weekend. A lot of relatives. We were able to stream it across the oceans to an uncle or a brother of hers that was on a cruise going around the Cape of Good Hope. No, I do thank you for your condolences. Thank you for the flowers from the city, and again, a life well lived and celebrated. Thank you.
You're welcome, Chairman, and you and Alderman Cooper continue to be in our prayers and our thoughts.
Yeah, Coop's mom. And Coop's mom and my mom were friends.
Yeah.
We had just talked about this a couple weeks prior.
You'll be glad to, oh, yes, Alderman Butler.
Yes, I would like to wish all the Black African Americans happy Black History Month, and I'd like to give kudos to where kudos is due. Brother Robert Williams is part of that history. He was the first Black African American basketball player out of DAC, in which we had just celebrated him a while back.
Last year.
And even though they took the Black history out of our school system, and I know that there's a lot behind it, and they replaced it with the history of the Native Americans. And I'm glad that the state, the senator, whoever, gave us this month so that we can celebrate ourselves. I also have something that is good for the cause as well, and I thank Mr. Hawker for his comments. It says God acknowledges the diversity of his creation while showing grace equally. But the Bible is clear that believers are one in Christ. We should view one another as God views us. God does not show favoritism, but accepts from every nation the one who fears him and does what is right. God does not favor one person or group over another, acknowledges the diversity of his creation while showing grace equally. Believers should follow this example. Y'all been getting calls about Danville won't pursue funding for the asylum seekers. I don't remember Danville, the council in a meeting about this decision making. I wish it would have came to the council before we rejected this $11 million for asylum seekers, to the fact that
Alderman, just to be clear, we did not reject anything. We weren't offered anything. So you would have to be offered something to reject it. So we were not offered anything.
yeah, well, I'm just reading what's in the paper.
Well, the paper isn't always
It
accurate.
just said, Danville won't pursue funding the asylum seekers.
We won't pursue it.
Yeah, you're right, that's what it says, and I'm kind of just wondering why. And on that same note, is that if our governor could find money for the asylum seekers there, I'm sure that me myself, I would have contacted him or the news media and said that we have people that's homeless, in need of homes, and they want to give us all this money, that money should include those people as well as the asylum seekers. Champaign has that money, and they get more money for infrastructure, training, and hospitalization, for these people, as well as for the homeless. And I just wish that we would have, at least investigating to see that that would have been included within that $11 million.
So, again, I'll just say that I did investigate it. There was money included for individuals with such status as you mentioned, but there was not additional money for generally for homeless people and things like that. So, those are two different sets of money, and yes, Alderman Williams.
Yeah, were you through with that subject, or you still?
Yeah.
Were you
I believe so.
Yeah, I want to thank Alderman Butler for the comment, and I appreciate that. I want to make note here, February is Black History Month, and for some reason we want to shove that aside or make it quiet, but it's been established to bring attention to the Black struggles and achievements, not only in Danville, but throughout the United States. And Dr. Martin Luther King said the struggle would not end with his death, that we all would be entrusted to continue to carry on his legacy. And we must do that here in the City Council, in Danville, in Illinois. Don't let this stop with him. We must continue to fight for equality for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, any other items of information? You'll be glad to know we do not have need of closed session, so I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.